Good morning everyone. Myself Megha Shewale from Department of Botany, Shewale College, Aurangabad. Today I am going to speak on topic food chain. We know very well that all the organisms require energy and we consume this energy or we get this energy from the food material which we eat. But depending on the mode of nourishment, all the organisms, they are classified into two groups. One is autotroph and another one is heterotroph. So before starting the food chain, we have to know about what are autotrophs and what are heterotrophs. So let's see. Autotrophs. Auto means self. Trop means level, energy level. So what are autotrophs? Autotrophs are the organisms which can synthesize their own food material. These are the group of organisms which utilize the sunlight and convert that light energy in the form of chemical energy, means in the form of carbohydrate or food material. These autotrophs, they are also known as producers. They produce all the food that heterotrophs use. So that's why without autotrophs, there would be no life on this planet. So example of the autotrophs are all the plants, all the green plants or all the plants. They are known as producers. They are known as autotrophs. So look at these pictures. Green plants, they are known as the autotrophs. Now autotrophs, they are again classified into two groups. First is the chemotrophs. Chemotrophs, or it is also known as chemosynthetic autotrophs. So what are chemosynthetic autotrophs or chemotrophs? Autotrophs that get their energy from the inorganic substances such as salt. Means chemotrophs are the organism which gain their energy from the oxidation of substances. The oxidized substances and the energy which is liberated from that, they gain it and utilize for their activity. For example, live deep down in the ocean where there is no sunlight. For example, bacteria and deep sea worms, they are considered as or they act as an chemotrophs. Now second group, that is the photosynthetic autotrophs. Photosynthetic autotrophs or phototrophs means the organisms or the plants which gain their energy from the sunlight. From the sunlight. They utilize the sunlight. Energy from the sunlight. Okay. Now second group, that is the heterotrophs. Just we have seen that heterotrophs depends upon the autotrophs. That's why autotrophs, they are important. Heterotrophs depends upon autotrophs because heterotrophs do not make their own food material or they can't synthesize their own food material. So for the food material or for the nourishment or for the energy, heterotrophs depends upon the autotrophs. And like autotrophs, they are known as producer, heterotrophs are also known as consumer. The another term from the heterotroph is consumer because they consume other organisms' energy in order to live. For example, all the animals and some plants, some parasitic plants. Okay, rabbits, deer, mushroom. Now look at these pictures. Here deer, rabbit and mushroom, they are clearly seen. Now heterotrophs depends upon, or heterotrophs again classified into types, some types. They are also just we have seen that they are known as consumers. Okay, they are known as consumers. So consumers, first of all, consumers, they are classified into three types. First is the primary consumer. First is the primary consumer, which are also known as herbivores. Primary consumers, they are also known as herbivores. So herbivores are the animals which eat only plants, which depends upon the plant for their food material. For example, cows, elephants and giraffes. Here we can clearly see herbivores, all the animals which depends upon plants for their nourishment, for their food. They consume plant as their food material. They are known as herbivores, and herbivores are also known as primary consumers. Now next, second is the carnivores. Second consumer is the carnivores. Carnivores are the animals which eat only meat, which depends upon meat for their nourishment. They do not consume the plant as their food. So carnivores are also known as secondary consumer. Carnivores are known as secondary consumers. They eat only meats. For example, lion, tiger, sharks, etc. Then next level, that is the next type, is the omnivores. Omnivores. Omnivores means omnivores are the organisms which eat both plant as well as animals. They depends upon, or they utilize plant as their food and animal as their food. For example, human beings. Best example is the human being. So omnivores are the animals which eat both plant as well as animals as their food material, consumes plant and animals as their food. Now last consumer, that is the last level of consumer or type of consumer, is the decomposers. So what are decomposers? Generally decomposers are the bacteria. They absorb any dead material and break it down into simple nutrients, or convert it into fertilizers. For example, bacteria and mushrooms, they act as an decomposers. Now up to this we can clearly understood about the autotrophs and the heterotrophs. Now how energy get transferred from one level to another level within the food chain. For example, when a zebra eats the grass, it does not obtain all the energy the grass has. And when a lion eats a zebra, it does not get all the energy from the zebra. Okay. So how transfer of energy is taking place? The two previous examples of energy transfer show that no organism ever receives all the energy from the organism they just ate. Only 10% of energy from one trophic level is transferred to the next. This is called as 10% law. Means what? Primary consumer depends upon producers. Secondary consumer or carnivore depend upon primary consumer. So this is a chain. One level depends upon another level for their nourishment, and energy get transferred from one level to another level. So energy moves from one organism to another organism when it is eaten. Each step in this transfer of energy is known as trophic level. The main trophic level are producers, consumers and decomposers. So what is food chain? The flow of energy from one trophic level to the another trophic level is known as food chain. And this food chain, the characteristic of food chain is it is simple and direct. It involves one organism at each trophic level. Primary consumers eat autotrophs, secondary consumers eat primary consumers, tertiary consumers eat the secondary consumers, and decomposers like bacteria and fungi, they break down dead organism and recycle the material back into the environment. So look at this food chain. Here producers, for example grass, obtain their energy from the sun and convert that energy into biochemical energy or in the form of food material. Now this energy transfer into transfer when it is eaten by the primary consumer. So here grasshopper is act as a primary consumer. So grasshopper depends upon grass for the food material. That's why energy can transfer from grass to grasshopper. Only 10% energy is transferred. Then here secondary consumer, snake act as a secondary consumer within this food chain, and snake is the grasshopper. That's why energy get transferred from primary consumer to the secondary consumer. And then tertiary consumer, example is hawk. Hawk depends upon the snake. So energy get transferred from snake to hawk. So look at this. This is a chain. This is a chain. And this chain or each topic level that depends upon another, and this chain is known as the food chain. Now last, that is the decomposer. This decomposer, when all the primary consumer or all the consumers and producer, when they get dead, then these fungi and the bacteria which are present within the soil, they decomposes these animals, dead animals or plants, and they convert it into the fertilizer or into the simple inorganic substances, and energy again get liberated. Then nutrients, then these fertilizers act as a nutrients for the producer again. So likewise, this is a simple example of the food chain. Thank you.